Hey, Paul, how are you?
Good, John. How are you?
Good. They released the schedule today. What do you think of the conference only schedule? Is that going to be difficult at all with no non-conference?
Well, first of all, we're obviously excited to be playing, right? Getting anything is great at this point, so we're excited about that. Um, it'll be interesting stepping onto the field for the first time without any type of exhibition or a non-conference match right into it. But I think that's a challenge that I think our girls are really up for. I think they're so ready to play, and starting right away. There's no excuses for not getting up for the match. That's for sure. So definitely a unique position to be in, but I think it's one that everybody's up for.
Was there any discussion in the Big 12 about moving the schedule to the spring, or was it pretty much fall all the way?
Uh, All I know is as a coaching group, the Big 12 head coaches, we were working really hard to try to keep something in the fall for these student athletes. If we had the message that it was going to be safe for them to play, then we felt like it was a good idea to have something for them because if we ended up not playing in the fall, and something happened in the spring and we didn't play again until next fall, it'd be a year and a half since our girls had played a soccer match. So I think for their health and wellness, for their mental stability, and all of us in athletics, if we can play, we need to do our darndest to try to have something happen right now.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Matt.
Which if the NCAA does end up having some sort of postseason in the spring, is that something y'all would consider? Or how weird would that be to not be participating in a while your sport is going on elsewhere?
It'll be interesting for sure, and it's if I've learned anything during the COVID season, is not to look too far ahead, for sure. And if they allow us to do something this spring, great. The more matches we can play, a coach is always going to like that. So I don't know. I don't know what the spring's going to look like. I don't know what a championship would look like if we get games before it, or what that. I have no idea how they're going to get that going, but I'd be for it. Yeah, especially if we get to play now and later. That sounds like the best of both worlds to me.
Thanks, Coach.
Nick.
Hey, Coach, what's going on? You had a lot of newcomers on the team. How are they progressing so far as you've had a couple of practices under your belt now?
The newcomers are doing great. I was just talking with somebody earlier today. It's been as crazy as we thought it was going to be coming into this preseason. The work rate, the normalcy on the field has been fantastic. The veterans have really welcomed this young group in. There's 14 of them, so it's a large group. But they have just stepped right into things and are competing hard from day one. So I've been really happy with the performance of our group, and how everybody's come along so quickly on the field has been really, really impressive.
Jerry.
Paul, it's hard to find a normal right now, but with classes starting yesterday and then getting that notification about the schedule, how excited were the girls just in terms of, hey, now we have a date out there. We know who we're playing, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean that I had the opportunity to tell them yesterday after practice, or I guess maybe it was Sunday night after practice. We knew ahead of time, and just wanted to tell them to their faces so I could see their reactions, and they were stoked, excited to be able to play. And you're right, that date has been pushed back a couple of times, but now to have something on the schedule and now released today, I know they were excited to have something kind of concrete ahead of them to look forward to, and continue to. They've been preparing really, really well without a date in front of them, but now to have a date ahead of them, I think it'll motivate them even further.
And Paul, if I can follow up, I guess with the way that they're doing the eligibility, everybody gets this year back, I believe. Is that the way you would handle it with soccer as well, or how do you manage roster when you'll have a class coming in next year?
Yeah, we were laughing. We have 14 this year, and we've got, I think, seven committed for next year already. So that'll be a class of 21 basically. It throws some things off down the road, but we've notified the team kind of what the possibilities are, but at the same time, it's going to be an individual conversation with each player, not only from what we're thinking, but also what are they thinking. We've got a lot of girls that are very career driven, and med school and things that are out there that may interfere with them continuing their soccer career in college. So there's a lot out there, but we'll do it, individual basis, and what's going to be best for each individual as we move forward.
Thanks, Paul.
JMO?
Paul, with the one match per week schedule this year, that's a little different. What does that allow you to do, or what are your thoughts about that?
Well, the first thing it does, it actually allows us to have some real practices during the week, some developmental type training. When you get into the heat of it, and you've got a Thursday match and a Sunday match, and you have to have a day off, which is usually Monday. You've got Tuesday to do something, and then Wednesday is a travel day. There's really not a lot of training outside of recovery and maybe some, going over opponents and things like that. But I think one thing it allows us to do is allows us to really prepare for an opponent. We've got Monday off. We'll train, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday be a day before a game type preparation. Play Friday, have a recovery day, and back at it. So not only will it allow us to prepare and actually get some training in, it actually allows us to really recover between matches also. So those are two things that I'm really excited about, is the ability to actually practice during the season and get some things done, as well as a recovery period between matches and be fully prepared physically as well before we meet another opponent.
Jerry?
Paul, I believe you said when y'all started camp that maybe a delay would give you a chance to get some players back that were coming back from injuries. How's that coming along? And now that you know that date, what will your health look like when you open the season?
Well, it's getting better. Obviously, time is a big helper for us with that. So we've got a couple kids that we think will be returning back to full participation, really that week right before we kind of get going. So the timing for that has been really, really good. And hopefully as we go along, introduce a few other players kind of as we go. But really some of the things are kind of nagging things. And I think the extended preseason has helped us not have to really go too heavy on girls even that are limited. It's allowed us to really stretch things out and bring people back slowly. So it's really helped them to even the ones that aren't fully out. It's I think kept some kids from being taken out of training and matches coming up. So I think it's been a good thing.
Since you don't have exhibitions or anything to get you ready for conference, do you do more in terms of inter-squad, or what do you do to get ready for that opener?
Yeah, I mean, with so many new players, it's been important that we really introduce what our mentality needs to be. A lot of the basics, what are we trying to accomplish as a team, position-based things. So we've done a lot of that. With some limited numbers, we've had a hard time getting up to too many numbers. We can't quite reach 11v11 yet, but we're really close to that. So we're trying to get as big as we can in training with our numbers so that we can prepare. But it has been a little bit interesting. It would have been nice to have maybe one exhibition prior to hitting a full match. But again, I think the excitement and the emotion of it and the adrenaline in that first match will probably take over any other things that will be lacking.
If you want to get a media team together, we'll take you on.
Okay, come on out. We'll be out there at 3:45 today.
Lincoln?
Sounds like Jerry gets really good health insurance from Baylor. You had a few players enroll early. Were they able to get the same benefits that early enrollees during the spring usually get with that semester having obviously all the obstacles thrown at it?
They didn't get the same as maybe a typical year just because it was cut so short. They didn't get any matches. But I tell you, I talked to a couple of them the other day just on the same thing. I really wanted their input. What did you really think? It was cut short and whatever. And they all were really big on the fact that it really helped them transition anyway. They got college classes in. They're used to the routine of school and what that's going to look like. And I think, it's really helped them transition the other 9. We had 5 in the spring, and it's really helped them transition the other 9 in a lot quicker as well. So while we didn't get exactly what we wanted out of the spring in that regard as well, it was still a really good and helpful piece for them as they transitioned into this fall.
Was there ever any discussion on playing each team in the conference twice?
I think we talked about everything, Lincoln, to be quite honest with you. If we thought at one point we were going to get conference only, but we're going to be able to start a lot earlier, we were going to try to play as many conference teams as we could, obviously having our conference schedule. But if we could introduce a few more games that were considered non-conference, then we were going to try to play as many as we could. But obviously that didn't happen. But we entertained, I think, just about every scenario you could think of.
And then this may not be something that y'all focused on yet, but when you do travel out of town, will every team that visits Baylor go to the same hotel just for certain protocols, or will everybody just be on their own, hoping they make the right choices when they find their accommodation?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think what we're going to do is we're going to set up a tent city over by the river for our visiting teams, and just make sure they got running water and some porta potties and things. Just make sure the accommodations are good and they're 6 feet apart. But no, Lincoln, I have no idea what they're doing. I'm not sure exactly what we're doing quite yet, just because the schedule's just out and figuring out where we're going to be. But yeah, I'm not sure about all those logistics yet. But I do think the tent city might be a great idea.
Thank you.
John,
Actually, Paul, I like camping out, so I might join them. Anyway, I was wondering if you can mention some girls who've really been some of the leaders so far, and then maybe a couple of newcomers who are kind of on the rise.
Yeah, our seniors have done a great job, and especially probably just highlighting Allie Henderson. On and off the field, has just done a fantastic job. Getting around some of the younger players and transitioning some of our veteran players into leadership roles, and of course Jen has stepped up as well and done a good job in that role too. Sarah Norman, another leader. Maggie Burton is in, I think, her 25th year here. She's just a fantastic young lady who has been through every experience here at Baylor and has done a great job. So I think the mix of those leaders, those seniors, and Eva Mitchell as well, they've done a great job with their different experiences, really meshing well together to form a great leadership group to help some of our younger kids kind of transition in. And then you look at, Liz Koyman coming off the freshman year she had last year, has really stepped back into a lot of, I don't know if the word is confidence or not, but a great leadership role on the field for sure. So we're seeing a lot of different people step up in a lot of different ways through this preseason, which as a coach, I absolutely love that. I want people to see leadership as influence, and if they see something that they need to step into, I want them to feel free to step into that and be a leader or an influencer in whatever role they feel like they can. And I think this group has really done a great job of kind of wrapping their arms around that and putting their fingerprints on this program in a really unique way, because it is such an unprecedented, unique opportunity. But I've been really impressed with their maturity as a whole, stepping into what they have right now.
Matt.
Yeah, Coach, just curious if you feel like this year maybe benefits a team that's maybe more under the radar with some more unknowns like you guys, or is it, more beneficial to have that experience, even though, this is something that no one really has ever experienced before?
Yeah, I think you could probably skew that any way that you wanted to motivate whatever team it is that you have, right? And that's what coaches do, I guess. But I can see some definite advantage of having a veteran crew come in without a preseason exhibition and without matches coming into conference matches. They know what that looks like. Could be a great advantage for a veteran team. But sometimes, and we've seen this in the past, sometimes the younger they are, the less they know, the better it is, that they just jump into it and they're excited to play. And especially when it was almost taken away from them totally, knowing they have an opportunity to do something, sometimes that inexperience can be a positive thing. So that's the angle obviously we're leaning towards. But we do have some veterans who have had a lot of success here that have been all the way through to Elite Eights. So that's gonna help us also.
Thanks, Coach.
JMO.
Paul, so one of the benefits playing conference only, that you've got the same protocol and procedures in place with everybody you're playing and everywhere you go. And how comfortable do you feel with the protocol that's in place?
Yeah, there's definitely a sense of where you can kind of take a breath and feel really good about where we are. I feel great. Number one, just what Baylor University has done to help us feel safe as a staff and with our players here. I think they've done a great job with the protocols that we've had in place for our athletes and now our students as they return. I think as a league, everybody being on the same page, it really helps us as well as we're going to different places or people coming in feeling like we're not putting ourselves at any risk that we don't really need to be put into. So yeah, I feel really good about those things that are in place for us. And I think the other advantage of playing conference only is that we do know our opponents. There really aren't any secrets. We all recruit a lot of the same players. So there is some familiarity with our opponents as if we were playing non-conference only, having to figure things out as we go with people that we may not have ever played before. So those are a couple of things that, yeah, the similar protocols is great, and also the familiarity of where we're going, having been there before, and knowing just the open communication we have with the coaches as well has been great.
Thank you.
DJ.
Hey, Coach, how you doing? With the 25% capacity rule that they're implementing for football games, is it going to be similar for soccer as well? Have you talked to Mac Rhodes about that, about having fans in attendance this season?
Yeah, honestly, we're so early on in all this, just now getting a schedule. We'll now probably work this week to figure out what we're going to be doing as far as attendance in our stands. So I'm sure that'll be, when one puzzle piece is put in, all the other ones start to fit into place. So I think those are coming next. But I don't know right now, DJ, to be quite honest with you, what we're doing. But I do think this week, probably in the next couple of days, that'll be something that we look to determine.
Anybody else have anything besides Jerry trying to suit up?
There may not be clarification completely on this yet from the NCAA, but if that spring championship does occur, would anything you do in the fall help you qualify for that, or would that require spring participation?
Another great question, Lincoln, that I think we're all kind of wondering right now. So I've heard, again, every scenario to where, the fall conference champion would be the AQ. But again, I think the key piece of the release from the NCAA is everything is pending COVID,
yeah.
Right? So I think the further we get along, the more we'll know. All I know right now is we have 9 conference games. We're excited to play. I think I've heard we've got a tremendous crew coming on campus to do the games for us. So I think we should have some good things going this fall for us.